I'm Siddharth. I'm a PhD student at National University of Singapore. This work was jointly done with my advisor Brian Wei, uh, his advisor Christos from Carnegie Mellon, and Minji also from Carnegie Mellon, and Kejong is from KAIST. So we worked on MIDAS, which is microcluster-based detection of anomalies in edge streams, and I've shared the slides and the GitHub repository in the chat for you to just take a look if you want to do that. The motivatory application behind MIDAS was that we want to detect denial of service, intrusion, these kind of attacks. And we want to do that as soon as possible so that the harm is minimized in the system. Because the longer we allow these kind of attacks to go on, the more money we lose, or uh, the attackers can get into the system and like steal valuable data. So we want to minimize these attacks, and at the same time, we want to detect them as soon as possible. Let's just go with an example. If we have say around 6 normal users which are just communicating with each other, and suddenly 3 malicious entities come in and they send a lot of spurious edges, suspicious edges to these normal entities. So we want to detect this kind of anomalous behavior, and we want to do it as soon as possible. So this is what we call as a microcluster anomaly, where a group of similarly suspicious entities come in and they send in a lot of suspicious edges. So we work with time evolving graphs, which are dynamic in nature. They keep on evolving with time. For example, you have computer networks, or you have Twitter instant messaging graphs where like each edge is a tweet or a Facebook like, Facebook message, something like that. Or you can have like in computer networks, you will have communications between two nodes. So these are all time evolving in nature or dynamic in nature. And because we don't have the entire graph beforehand, so we want to have like a streaming algorithm where we get the graph also as a stream, and we want to detect anomalies there. So this is an edge stream example. So the same example, if we just label the nodes, so U1 to U6 are the normal users, and A1 to A3 are the anomalous users, anomalous entities. And we see, so from time instant 1 to 5, we have all the normal users and their normal communications, which are, so by normal, I mean those which are not anomalous. So these are all like normal and non-malicious kind of communications between normal users. Suddenly at time instant 6, we see, okay, a huge number of anomalous nodes came in, and there was a suspicious group. They sent a lot of suspicious edges. So we want to detect this kind of sudden surge in the behavior, and we want to detect this kind of behavior. So this is the outline of the presentation. We'll first discuss the problem formally, and then I'll briefly talk about both the algorithms introduced in the paper MIDAS and MIDAS-R. We can discuss the related work briefly, and then I'll share the experiments and how we are proceeding with MIDAS in future. So feel free to write any questions if you have in the chat window. We can discuss them at the end. So this is the problem. We have an input edge stream E from a time evolving graph G. The graph will be directed so like we consider source and destination separately. Undirected graph can be handled in a similar manner, where you just add a reverse edge in the input. We can have a multi-graph where you see, okay, there can be more than one edge at the same time between two nodes. So you can send multiple communications across nodes. We have a discrete time as well. The output is an anomaly score for each edge. So like for each edge at the end of the stream, we'll get an anomalousness score. The contributions of MIDAS were that we detect microclusters, which was not done previously. We also give theoretical guarantees on the false positives. So like this is really useful in systems and in critical applications where you want, okay, your false positive should be upper bounded by this. We cannot tolerate more than these many false positives. So this is really useful in those cases. Also, because it is a streaming algorithm, like all other streaming algorithms, it has to be constant memory and constant update time. We cannot afford like memory to increase with your increasing stream. So the MIDAS algorithm, we want to detect this kind of a behavior where we want to detect a microcluster. For example, like this is the time axis, this is the number of edges between nodes U and V. So if you observe, okay, we were observing say a normal kind of behavior between the nodes U and V up to time instant 9, and suddenly at the 10th time instant we observe, okay, 1,000 edges came in suddenly. So this is the kind of surge we want to detect. In an offline scenario, there can be a lot of time series methods which can do this kind of analysis and can detect microclusters. But we have an online or a streaming scenario where the memory is bounded and the set of nodes is also not fixed. So how do we do that in an online scenario is the challenge here. So one possible and naive solution can be you assume all your the entire previous history is following a Gaussian distribution. So then you can, once you make that assumption, you can find the mean and the standard deviation of the Gaussian distribution, and then you compute your likelihood at the current time instant. And based on this likelihood, you just see, okay, your threshold was greater than this likelihood, you just declare it as an anomaly. So if you expect certain number of edges and you get more than that, so you just declare it as an anomaly. The problem with this naive approach is you've already made a very strong assumption that your entire past is following a Gaussian distribution. So in real life, that really does not happen. So we make a weaker assumption where we say that the mean level of the past is the same as the mean level of the current time instant. So for example, if you have 100 edges coming in 10 seconds, so you divide the past and the current as 9 seconds and 10th second. So the ratio will be of the expected edges will be 90:10. Whereas if you observe say 0 and 100 edges at the 10th time instant, so this is a microcluster behavior. And you want to detect this kind of anomaly in an online scenario. So we use two things to do this. First one is the Countman sketch data structure. So along with the CMS data structure, we use a chi-square goodness fit test, which I'll discuss briefly. So the novelty of MIDAS was kind of combining these two things. So Countman sketch is a very novel data structure, streaming data structure, which uses hash functions, and it uses sublinear space to basically hash your value. So in this case, we have multiple Countman sketch data structures for an edge, for a source node, for a destination node, and it allows slightly overcounting due to collisions. So without going into the details of Countman sketch data structure, like the details are in the paper, we'll just see that Countman sketch actually gives wonderful theoretical guarantees. So this is the basis of getting a theoretical guarantee by MIDAS. So MIDAS gives you a guarantee, okay, that if you have a tolerance of mu, like an mu tolerance error, so with probability at least 1 minus epsilon, this will be your theoretical guarantee. So this is a Countman sketch guarantee. What it says is, for example, if you have say 0.5% error, so with 99% probability, you will satisfy this equation only with up to 0.5% error. So your approximate count from the Countman sketch data structure will only be slightly overcounted. Based on this, we get a Countman sketch. Based on this, we get a MIDAS theoretical guarantee on the false positives, and you can decide your mu and epsilon. The error which you want for mu and epsilon. Corresponding to that, you can decide the hash functions and the corresponding number of buckets in the data structure. Then the other thing which we use is the how do we calculate the anomaly score? For this, we use the chi-square goodness of fit test. No worries if you would not understanding this, but the details are in the paper. It's just like there's a standard chi-square goodness of fit test where you take a summation over observed minus expected square upon expected for both the categories, the current time instant and the past. And then this is the formula which we get where a minus s upon t square into t square s into t minus 1. So just going into the intuition behind this. So a is the observed count of edges and s is the expected count of edges. So if you see, okay, you were expecting say edges somewhere here and you suddenly get a huge number of edges. So you want to have your score proportional to the difference between these two. So you do not want something like if there are like your expectation was very less and at the same time you get say something like 1,000 edge between two nodes U and V. So you want to give it a high anomaly score. So and the third factor in this score formula is basically a diminishing factor with the increasing stream length. Then we introduce MIDAS R where we want to incorporate relations also. So we incorporate two kinds of relations, the temporal relations where we allow past edges to also count towards the current time tick. That we do by basically multiplying it by a diminishing weight or diminishing factor alpha. So we have that factor in between 0 and 1. So somewhere around 0.5 is good enough. Then we have spatial relations where we not just find the anomaly score for the edge, we also find the anomaly score for a node. So it may be possible that an individual edge is not anomalous, but a group of edges together, they form an anomaly. So this is, I'll just discuss this example in the experiment as well, but it's just somewhere like your individual edge is not anomalous, but a group of nodes together act anomalously. So these kind of relations, temporal and spatial relations, they'll take slightly more time to incorporate. At the same time, it's expected that they'll slightly improve the performance as well. The time and memory complexity of MIDAS, and this is where like MIDAS gives really huge speedups. So this is the reason, because we have like our space complexity is order W cross D. You just have like a matrix, like 6 matrices of order W cross D. And the time complexity is just proportional to like the number of hash functions. So it is order D. Because both W and D are constants, so like both the memory and the time complexity is constant. So that's why it's really advantageous to use MIDAS in real life situations. The related work in this area, so anomaly detection in graphs has been explored quite a lot because it's very useful in different kind of problems, finding lockstep behavior, DOS attacks, DDoS attacks, intrusions, even like you want to find fake ratings or financial frauds in these kind of applications. So the previous work can be divided into 3 categories. Anomaly detection in static graphs, where your graph is static, it is not changing with time. So this was done like some years back, but in recent history, we also want to find anomalies in dynamic graphs where the graph is kind of getting updated with time. So that is actually like modeling a real world situation, because your graph will never be static. You take the Facebook graph, your Amazon user product kind of graph, or any other graph, it will be updating with time. So that is a dynamic or a time evolving graph. So these kind of graphs can arrive in 2 formats. So one can be graph streams, where you get a new graph snapshot at each time. So it can be each minute or each day, you get a new graph snapshot. The other is you want to detect it at an even finer granularity of in each edge. So as soon as you get a new edge or a new communication between 2 nodes, you want to detect whether it is an anomaly or not. So this is at an even finer granularity. Our method MIDAS lies in this category. Within that, there can be 3 subcategories: node detection, anomalous nodes detection, anomalous subgraph detection, and anomalous edge detection. So we compare with SedanSpot and RHSS. Our method lies basically, it detects anomalous edges. When we incorporate relations MIDAS R, it can also lie in anomaly node detection. But we compare with SedanSpot and RHSS. SedanSpot was a very nice paper in ICDM 2018, and this is from 2016. So if we just compare these 2 works, MIDAS, SedanSpot and RHSS, all 3 of them are streaming algorithms. And so all 3 of them have constant memory and constant update time, because you cannot afford having, say, even linear memory to your number of nodes, and you don't know how many nodes you'll receive later in time. Also, you want constant update time. You cannot have like even more than that. So you also, at the same time, you want that time to be as less as possible, because you want to detect the anomaly as soon as possible. So as soon as your edge or malicious entity arrives, you want to detect it so that you can do some basically threat mitigation kind of things, so that your financial losses or your system privacy or your information is not lost from the server. And MIDAS, in addition to these 2 things, it also detects microcluster kind of anomalies, where an individual edge may not be anomalous, but a group of entities together are acting anomalously. And we also give theoretical guarantees on the false positives. Experiments. So we compare on 3 data sets. DARPA is a very famous data set used in anomaly detection. It has 4.5 million IP-IP communications in approximately 90,000 minutes across, say, in a network scenario between nodes. It also has the ground truth label, based on which we can calculate the ROC AUC statistics. We also use 2 kind of Twitter data sets, so Twitter Security and Twitter World Cup. Twitter Security has around 2.6 million tweets and World Cup has 1.7 million tweets. So this is in the Soccer World Cup 2014, where the tweets are of the format red card, yellow card, penalty, some goal is scored, something like that. And Twitter Security is where you have like security related attacks. So there was an Ebola virus outbreak in 2014, some Gaza conflicts. So these kind of attack related tweets in the year 2014. So these are all publicly available data sets in the repository. Accuracy, so basically this is actually the ROC AUC curve between the true positive rate and the false positive rate. So Sedanspot got around 64% ROC AUC. RHSS actually performed worse than random. It got 17%, so we don't plot it here. Midas and Midas R, Midas gets 91% AUC, which is quite good on this data set. Midas R, we incorporate relations in Midas R, so the accuracy is slightly more than Midas. The running time, so we see that this is actually in the increasing order of data set size. So we see that Midas R takes slightly more time than Midas. So in all the three things, that's expected because we are now incorporating relations. But still Midas and Midas R are performing at least 2 orders of magnitude faster than Sedanspot in all the data sets. And as we increase the data set size, both Midas and Midas R are expected to perform even better. Also, we see that Midas and Midas R both are able to process more than 4 million edges in less than half a second. So the speedups and the accuracy combined together, this is what is making Midas really useful for in real life scenarios. If we see the accuracy versus time, so like it's approximately 50% more accurate. At the same time, it's performing at least 2 orders of magnitude faster. So this is a scalability plot where we see, okay, with the increase of number of edges, the method is linearly scalable. Time to process each edge. So most of the edges are processed within 1 microsecond. There are a very few edges which take up to 2 microseconds to process. Okay, this is the security related attack, the Twitter security data set which I talked about. So this is just to show a real world effectiveness. So this is Sedanspot which is plotted. This is Midas R. So if this is the number of days, so the 3 months during which the data set was collected, and these are the type of attacks. So you have a Ebola virus and you have a suicide bombing, Gaza conflicts. Then this was a Mepetoni attack, which was quite like a well-known attack there. So we see that Sedanspot actually gives a very high anomaly score for almost everything. So this is not really useful because if you just say, okay, you give a high anomaly score for every event, that is not useful to an analyst or to the system, right? So you want to give a high anomaly score to the actual event. You don't want to give a high anomaly score to everything. So this is also reflected in the lower ROC AUC score for Sedanspot in the previous methods, in the previous experiments. So if we see, okay, these correspond quite well in the Midas and Midas R. I have not plotted Midas due to space restrictions. If we just go into the details of 2nd and 7th event, so we see, okay, Midas and Midas R are able to actually identify these, whereas Sedanspot misses these. So it gives a low anomaly score. The reason for this is that these are low priority events. So Midas and Midas R, even though they're able to detect it, Sedanspot is not able to detect these kind of events. Just going into the details of the 7th event. So this is an example of a microcluster anomaly, which we talked about earlier. So an individual edge is not anomalous, but a group of edges together are acting as an anomaly. Just discussing the future work. So right now, Midas actually finds anomalies in 2-dimensional data sets. So basically, we just had a source and a destination IP in Midas. The next work is MStream, where we have multiple dimensions. So we have like up to 80 dimensional data sets, and this is we've named it as MStream, which is multi-aspect group anomaly detection. So you want to find group kind of anomalies here. So the challenges in this work are that we have very high number of dimensions. At the same time, we can have real valued and categorical attributes, both kind of attributes. In Midas, we just had a categorical kind of attribute. So here we not just have a source and a destination IP, we can have something like a flow duration or some average packet size, and those values can be 5.4, 5.3, 50.5, something like that. So we want to detect anomalousness in those kind of scenarios, and we want to do it as soon as possible. So we're not discussing this yet, but like this is under review. And we also show that we outperform some scikit-learn algorithms in this work, like isolation forest, local outlier factor. So how can someone contribute to Midas? So right now it's a sequential version. There have been several implementations in Python, in Java, Golang, and these have become quite popular. So if someone wants to like work on a parallel distributed or a GPU version with Rapids API, that is quite welcome. We're also thinking of a hardware implementation over FPGA or even in the network scenario in SDN/P4. That should be quite useful because of the speed ups which we're getting. Even in an NLP scenario, Midas can be explored where your knowledge graphs. Uh, One other thing which Midas currently does not incorporate is a periodic or a seasonal kind of behavior. So right now we're assuming that, okay, you should have a same expectation even on a Sunday or on a Black Friday day. So that is not true in reality. So if we can incorporate a periodic setting, also people can kind of implement it in Julia, Erlang, FHash, and say some other languages. So just to conclude, so we're detecting streaming microclusters and we do it in constant time and memory. We're also giving theoretical guarantees on the false positives, and we show the effectiveness of Midas both in terms of accuracy and in terms of speed. So it's up to 50% more accurate than previous state-of-the-art approaches, while being at least 2 orders of magnitude faster. We've extended the work to a journal version where we show, okay, we like kind of speed like the speed ups now are say up to 3 orders of magnitude faster, but like we still have to kind of publish that work. And these are my co-authors, and it was published in AAA. This is the link to the paper and the link to the repository. So with that, I'll just stop and we can take any questions.